It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to this special edition of Science Bowl. We're into the semifinals. Two great teams here today. Let's meet them. First from Oakcrest Elementary School, please welcome James Culp, Malik McDermott, and Amani Kasembe. And from Rockledge Elementary School, please say hello to Cam Evans, Adia Cheney, and Josh Bistany Reedman. And now, here are the categories of questions we use on Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, our game board reflects the question difficulty, with the easier questions worth 5 and 10 points on the left-hand side. The tougher ones are worth 15, 20, and finally 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. At the end of the 2 rounds, one of these 2 schools will come back to play Northview for the chance to become the first of the final 4 in this year's elementary school competition. Started with 40 elementary schools, almost down to the final 4. So make sure everything's working. Malik, would you try your buzzer for me? Thank you. Good luck to you, to Imani, and to James. And let's go to the green team, the Roadrunners over there at Rockledge. Adia, try yours. All right. Looks like it's in good shape, too. Good luck to you, to Cam, and to Josh. Are we ready?
Yes.
Let's do this. Congratulations for having made it this far in our competition. May the better team win. We go alphabetically, O before R. So Oakcrest and Malik, start the bowl.
Science Potpourri for 25, please.
Potpourri for 25, the big one in that category to start us out. Teams, whenever there is a suspicious death like that of Michael Jackson, the coroner, before issuing the cause of death, will request a toxicology report in which what 2 things could be revealed that were in the person's body. What 2 things for 25 points to start our game? Rockledge, 2 things in the toxicology report.
Chemicals in the body.
Adia is going to answer. Yes, ma'am.
Drugs and chemicals?
Drugs and chemicals. Be more specific about chemicals. Yes, please. What do you think?
Drugs and...
All right, let's try Oakcrest. Oakcrest, can you give me the 2 things the toxicologist is looking for that could be in the body of the decedent?
Drugs and medicine?
Drugs and poisons. Drugs and poisons. That was the second one that neither of you came up with. Try red.
Science Potpourri for 20.
Science Potpourri for 20 points. Teams, the mammalian classification group Edentates is being thrown out. Turns out that armadillos and anteaters do in fact have some of these in their mouth. Oakcrest?
I don't know.
Yes, sir?
Ants?
Not ants, no. Edentates was a former mammalian classification group. They've thrown it out because it turns out armadillos and anteaters do in fact have some of these in their mouth.
Teeth?
Teeth, that's right. They don't have incisors. Dentate means teeth. E before it means without teeth. Good comeback. Go green. Yes, ma'am. Adia.
Zoo Parade for 15, please.
Zoo Parade for 15 points. Teams, there is a creature called the green sea slug that is half animal, half plant. Oakcrest.
It produces chlorophyll?
It produces chlorophyll. Not quite. Not quite. Good try, Rockledge. Malik has already given us some more information. This green sea slug is half plant, half animal. Because it eats algae, it gets chlorophyll into its body, which means it can do what that plants normally do. Rockledge?
turn green.
No, photosynthesize and produce their own food. Okay, go again, green.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25. The question is as follows. Teams, today's aging baby boomers are really turning into bionic seniors. A lot of us are getting artificial hips and artificial knees, and now a lot of us are getting artificial versions of what joint where the tibia and the fibula meet the talus? Rockledge? Yes, ma'am.
Knee.
Not the knee. No, we already mentioned that in the question. Baby boomers, aging baby boomers are getting artificial hips and artificial knees, but what other artificial joint are old people getting now? The joint where the tibia and the fibula meet the talus.
Elbow?
Your ankle. Your ankle. The tibia and the fibula are in your leg. The talus is the foot. Come on, guys. Let's think more clearly. Let's listen to the clues. Go green.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. All right, teams, your question is as follows. If you give a small plant very little light, surprisingly, it gets very, very tall. But it also develops a kind of albinism because what is it missing? Rockledge?
Energy from the sun.
Energy from the sun.
Not energy from the sun. It gets a kind of albinism, this tall, gangly plant that is denied light. What's missing from it?
Water?
Chlorophyll, chlorophyll. Albinism, albino. Albino is white, something that has no color. All right, you're not having much success with the higher value question, so maybe you want to change your strategy and go to get some points at the lower. But that's your decision. Go green.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. All right, teams, your question is as follows. Red giants and white dwarfs are not characters from a Shrek movie. Rather, they are these. Rockledge, what are they?
Stars.
They're stars, that's right, based on the luminosity and density and size. All right, good. Go, green.
Science potpourri 10.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, in the movie Avatar, Pandora is not a planet. Rather, it is... All right, Rockledge? It is a moon, that's right. It is a heavenly body that orbits a planet. All right, the buzzer has rung. We've come to the end. That was a very fast first round. Oakcrest is still there at 50. Rockledge is at 90. We'll be back with the second round in just a moment. And welcome back to Science Bowl. 6 outstanding young people playing our game today. If you've been watching throughout the course of the season here on channels 96 or 38, or if you've been watching us on the web, you've met these 3 young players from Oakcrest. You've seen them, James and Malik and Amani. Nice to have you guys back. Oakcrest is always a powerhouse on our game here. Malik, tell us a little bit about your school.
Well, our principal is Miss Robinson. And we usually have activities called Dynamic Dragon Days, where we have a school currency named Dragon Dollars, and we have to have 20 Dragon Dollars to attend the event.
Oh, and of course the dragon is your school mascot, is it not? Yes. So you're fire-breathing folks over there at Oakcrest. And Miss Clark, I know, is the sponsor of your team. She works very hard to get you ready. Did you have any alternates on your team?
We have Jorge Ramirez.
Yes.
Ortiz.
And we'll bring the alternates out in Miss Clark in a few moments so everyone can meet them. And tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do in your spare time?
Well, I usually either play on computers, do some research, or some origami.
Very good. Yeah, we were talking about origami, and you've actually made a dragon out of origami, haven't you?
Yes.
Kind of the school mascot over there. What do you want to do someday, Malik?
I either want to become a lawyer or maybe a doctor.
Or a doctor, some profession. Well, I can see you doing either one. You have a good head on your shoulders, and you're very calm under pressure over there. James, nice to have you back. Young man who wants to be the CEO of a food franchise, just wants to let all the money roll in while the rest of us go out there and have lunch and dinner. What got you thinking this would be a good idea?
Well, I see so many people going to fast food restaurants and restaurants all the time. And stuff like that. And restaurants make a lot of money.
They certainly, we've got to eat, don't we? Everyone's got to eat. And you told me you were interested in maybe like a buffet-style restaurant, right? And you know, and I think if you came up with one that was really competitively priced, but also had maybe low calorie but good taste, you know, people might flock there in this day and age. Imani, nice to have you with us. Tell us the Imani story. What do you want to do someday?
Well, I would like to study Education or literature.
Or literature. And you'd like to teach, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You told me you wanted to be a 5th grade teacher. What do you do in your spare time?
Either I read or I'm outside playing tennis.
Yeah, and you told me you play at Watkins Regional Park in the bubble sometimes down there when the weather is bad, which this past winter has been pretty lousy. It's been tough to get in tennis games or bike rides this winter. Keep up your good playing. And of course, you've won our game twice already this season, so you're back for your 3rd round and you're doing real well. I know you're slow to start today, but I know that score is going to go up. Rockledge, it's nice to have you here. They brought along a picture of their mascot, the Roadrunners, over there. Adia, nice to have you with us. Tell us about Rockledge, the school over there in Bowie. Who's your principal?
Our principal is Mrs. Landry, and our assistant principal is Mrs. Forte.
Wonderful. They're out there rooting for you. And who's your sponsor?
Our sponsor is Mrs. Kerner.
Mrs. Kerner. And Mrs. Kerner is so excited about this. She came and helped us judge on previous games, and I know that she's put in a lot of hard work, and we appreciate that, just as we do Mrs. Clark's hard work getting the team ready. Tell me about any alternates you had on your team.
Our alternates are Mae Baker and Victoria Omadili.
And we'll bring both of them out just a little bit later. Tell me about yourself. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be an inventor and change the world like Bill Gates and his wife did.
Yeah, we were talking about that. You know, he has made so much money with his computer fortune, and yet he's doing good with it. So that's the true test of your worth in life, that you give back, that you do for others. And before I leave you, this is one of the semifinals, and Rockledge was last in the winner's circle. They last won the county championship in 1993, 17 years ago, before you guys were born. So if you can do it, you could put Rockledge back in the top there. Find out about Josh over there. Josh, you want to get a PhD in, is it biochemistry?
Yes.
Wow. So you already have your whole educational career planned out. How'd that happen?
I just thought of that, and then I just did it.
So do you like chemistry? Do you like to mix things together? And obviously you're interested in biology too.
Yes.
So that's a nice marriage of the two. Now you're all dressed similarly over there. Is that the school uniform, the white and the blue tie?
It's our school colors.
School colors. Well, we appreciate you dressing up today. You look really good, all of you, just as the Oakcrest team does. Nice to have you with us, Josh. Cam, nice to have you here. Young man who told me he likes to study useless information. Well, all information has some value. Tell me, you have a nice sense of humor. Tell me what you want to do someday.
I either want to own a zoo or be an animal biologist.
Yeah, and he told me earlier that his favorite animal, not one he's likely to have as a pet anytime soon, is
A Komodo dragon.
Komodo dragon, a real-life dinosaur. You know, they're just amazing. And they have them at the National Zoo where they've been successful breeding them. And I can see the fascination. I can see the fascination. Good luck to you. That's a great goal. Let's get back to our game. 90 for Rockledge, 50 for Oakcrest. We have lots of points to give away. Anybody's game. Last correct answer came from the green team. So Rockledge, start us out.
Zoo Parade for 10.
Zoo Parade for 10 points. Teams in Australia, they brought over years ago cane toads to eat some insect pests. Problem was, cane toads are poisonous, and any predator that ate the cane toad died, which meant in Australia those cane toads upset the whole feeding process that is known as the food what? Oakcrest?
Chain.
Food chain or food web. Absolutely right. We even would have accepted food pyramid. Good. Red.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, treating cancer often involves surgery, but the other two preferred treatments are chemotherapy and this. Chemotherapy and this. Rockledge, cancer treatment, other one.
Radiation.
Radiation, that's what I want to hear. Good. Green.
Dateline Science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, it was recently discovered that the globe skimmer dragonfly flies from India to East Africa and back again, a total distance of 11,000 miles, meaning it is the top insect migrator, beating what other familiar creature, Rockledge?
Monarch butterfly.
The monarch butterfly that flies from Canada in the eastern U.S. to Mexico and back for a round trip of 4,500 miles. So beat by a country mile. Green. Yes, ma'am.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, there was a woman in France who lost this because she was badly mauled by a dog. But because of the first ever transplant of one of these, she now is able to put on a happy one of these. What same word fills all those blanks, Malik?
Face.
Face. You put on a happy face, you lose face, and she got the first face transplant. Good. And please wait before we turn that light off so I can see who rang in there. 70 to 120, advantage red.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points, multiple choice question teams. A disinfectant that is safe enough to be used on the human body is generally called an antiseptic, an antibody, or an analgesic. Which of those three? Rockledge.
Antiseptic.
Antiseptic is correct. Absolutely right. Good. Go. Green.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, your question is as follows. The entire genome of this bean that we associate with the food tofu has recently been determined. Rockledge.
Soybean.
Soybean, that's right. Soybean is where we get tofu, and they've just determined all of the genes known as the genome of that plant. A very important industrial product. Green.
Let's get physical for 15.
Get physical for 15 points. Teams, when space debris enters the Earth's atmosphere, what force keeps it mostly from hitting us? Oakcrest.
Friction?
Friction, absolutely right, because it burns up as it goes through the atmosphere. Now, some of them make it through, but not many. All right, good answer. Red.
Zuparate for 20.
Zuparate for 20 points. Team's multiple choice question on SpongeBob SquarePants. There is something called the cephalopod lodge. Which of the following creatures is the only one that could be a member? Oakcrest.
Squid?
The squid, that's right. I was going to give you squid and lobster and starfish and sponge, and you picked it. Red.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, a famous botanist said that the sundew plant may just be too pretty to be predatory. But it is. It's what kind of plant? Oakcrest.
Carnivorous?
Yes, it's carnivorous. It eats bugs. All right, go red.
Zuparate for 25.
Zuparate for 25 points. Team, scientists are now trying to develop an embryo from a long extinct woolly mammoth and then implant it into the womb of a modern-day elephant to carry it to term. Anytime a mother carries a baby that is not her own, she is known as a what? As a what? For 25 points, Oakcrest.
Surrogate.
Surrogate. That's what I want to hear. And with that, that takes you to 135. Rockledge 145. Now we got a game almost tied. Red go.
No, but there was time.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Body systems for 15, please.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, this tube in the body, named for Bartolomeo Eustachio, connects the pharynx with what other part of the body where it helps to equalize air pressure? This tube connects the pharynx to the what? Rockledge.
Ear.
Ear, absolutely right. The Eustachian tube from the pharynx to the middle ear. Nicely done. Green.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Teams, I'm going to read a quote for you. I want you to tell me what famous scientist said this. Why should the apple always... Rockledge.
Isaac Newton.
Newton. You didn't let me finish my sentence. No, exactly right. Why does the apple always fall perpendicularly and not sideways and upwards? That's what I want to hear. Isaac Newton. Go green.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, this part of a plant is sometimes described as papery, leathery, or knobby, but on a beech tree, it's said to resemble an elephant's leg. What plant part am I talking about, Rockledge?
Stem.
Not the stem. Not the stem. Oakcrest. On a plant, sometimes this is described as papery, leathery, or knobby, but on a beech tree, some people say it looks like an elephant's leg. What do you think, guys? It's the bark. The bark is what I'm looking for. Go green. Yes, ma'am.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. All right, teams. The ocean around Antarctica is very cold, about 29 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll give you 20 points if you can tell me why it doesn't freeze. Why doesn't it freeze, Oakcrest?
Okay. Global warming?
Not because of global warming. Nope. The ocean around Antarctica is about 29 degrees Fahrenheit, but it doesn't freeze over. Why not, Rockledge?
Because there's salt in it.
Judges, yes, because there is salt in it, and salt lowers the freezing point. That's what we want to hear. Good. Green.
Zoo parade for 5.
Zoo parade for 5 points. Teams, there are no sea bears or sea tigers, but there are sea versions of this predator. Yes, Malik.
Lion?
A sea lion. I was about to say it had fins and whiskers and not paws and manes. That's right. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh, my. Go. Red.
Dateline science for 25.
Dateline for 25. Big one in that category. Teams, in 2004, paleontologists found 13,000-year-old fossils of little miniature versions of ourselves living in Indonesia. They called them after Tolkien's Lord of the Rings characters. They called them these. Rockledge.
Dwarves?
Not dwarfs, good try. Oakcrest, Tolkien's Lord of the Rings creatures that were very tiny were given, this name was given to what miniature humans that we think lived in Indonesia 13,000 years ago? Yes, sir. Malik? Hobbits. Hobbits. 2 minutes left in the game. Go red, please. Yes, sir, Malik. 2 minutes to go. You choose.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points. Teams, the online encyclopedia of life claims that the most abundant animals on this earth are nematodes, which are kinds of round whats? Oakcrest. They are round what?
What are nematodes? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Bacteria?
Not bacteria. Good try. Nematodes, the most abundant animals on earth, are kinds of round what?
Bugs?
Worms. Worms. Roundworms. Red. Go.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25 points. Teams, in the movie Avatar, the ferns and the Spanish moss are green and purple, and they glow in the dark. So, just like fireflies, we call them what? Oakcrest.
Bioluminescent.
You got it. Good. Go.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25 points. Teams, whether the chemical element is named for the sun god Helios, the country France, or the scientist Einstein, the last 3 letters in the name are always what 3 letters? Oakcrest.
Can you repeat the question?
I cannot.
No.
We're looking for the last 3 letters in the names of those elements.
NTS. Oh, sorry.
Yes, sir?
SCC.
Nope.
No.
Rockledge, whether the element is named for the sun god Helios, the country France, or the scientist Einstein, the last 3 letters in the element's name are?
ING.
IUM. Einsteinium, francium, and helium. The buzzer has rung. Our game is over. It looks like Rockledge has done it. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back. What a game we had. Oakcrest had no points. They came within a whisker of winning this thing. What a great second round you had. Our final tally today is the Dragons of Oakcrest 165. The Roadrunners of Rockledge 195. Congratulations, Roadrunners. Cam and Adia and Josh and Victoria and Maeve standing back there. They're all smiles as they should be. The alternates. Mrs. Kerner is very happy. Mrs. Cheney, Mrs. Asaka, thank you all for all you did. And over here at Oakcrest, come on, guys, let's smile. What a game. You came back from nowhere. James and Malik and Amani, 3 wonderful appearances on Science Bowl. Jorge, he's standing there proudly because he's proud of that team. And Mrs. Clark, you are the best of the best. Thank you always for being part of our game, and thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Science Bowl. Bye now.